Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to today's chat, which I hope you're going to find really useful. This is part of a series that I've created recently where I'm talking to coaches and experts in all sorts of different areas. I've been blogging for quite a few years, and I've been very much exploring career change and life change from that kind of career work perspective. I realised, of course, in that process that there are so many other things that are important. And with that in mind, I'm now talking to, as I said, these different experts from different areas. So we've got money and health and relationships and so on. And today I'm with Freedom Rivera. And I originally came to you, Freedom, to talk about relationships and love. But I know we came up with another important topic, which I'm really excited about, which is self-compassion. And I'm certainly, we were just talking about this before I hit record, very focused on goal setting and achieving. And I always talk about this kind of good girl syndrome from school. And I've definitely been doing a lot of work with myself. And in fact, self-compassion is on my little whiteboard over there. I put it up as my top
Awesome.
value that I'm looking at among some other things. So really excited to have you here. Perhaps you can start by just giving us a little bit more of an idea of the work that you do and how you work with clients. And then I'll dive into my questions for you.
Sure. Well, thank you, Anna, for having me. And thank you, everyone who's watching. My name is Freedom, and I work with millennial women. I help them overcome their self-doubt and master love in every aspect of their lives, especially those with career path goals and loving relationships.
Wonderful. So perfect fit there. But maybe we can start then with defining what self-compassion is. It's something, as I said, that I've put up on my whiteboard, but perhaps we have different understandings of what that means. So what's your perspective there?
Sure. So I have a background also in psychotherapy, and in recent years I've been practicing what is called mindfulness living. And actually, it was through mindfulness that I came across what is really self-compassion. And it goes beyond the surface of, oh, today is me day, I'm going to the spa or I'm going to do my nails. Way beyond that. It's really digging deep and seeing and noticing any type of absence or suffering inside your soul and how to nourish your soul, how to go about that. So self-compassion for me, I have combined my psychotherapy and mindfulness background. It's a behavior. It's a wholesome, positive behavior that if we apply it on a daily basis, it does become a positive habit. And there are different ways to practice self-compassion besides going to the spa or doing your nails.
But I love that you say that because my mind probably tends to go to, oh, I'll reward myself with a massage or I'll take a bit of a break or something. So I love that you're saying that there are other ways, perhaps less materialistic and deeper things that we can do there. And why is it
Yes.
so important then? Why is it so important when we're, as we said, doing these big career changes and goals and pushing ourselves and trying to find our life purpose and all these things that millennial women, I suppose, are doing?
Sure. Well, I am talking to you from New York. I was raised in New York. I was born in Peru and raised here in New York City, the Big Apple. And so throughout all my life, as young as I can remember, I was taught just to achieve, very career oriented kind of mentality and mindset in my family. But nobody taught me how to really take care of myself. And I was just a girl 10 years ago, probably, who would just take care of herself by going to the spa and doing her nails, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think,
Definitely not.
now we should do it quite often too as well. But then one day I was having enough with my suffering. I ended up a relationship. And so I found myself going to a retreat at a Buddhist monastery. And at that retreat, I was practicing mindfulness living, which is all about self-compassion. And there was an event in which I finally realized that something big, huge has been missing in my life, and it's really how to take care of myself very deeply, very profound. And I remember clearly, I'm looking at all of my other peers around me, and we're asking literally ourselves, how come nobody taught this? Like, how come they don't teach this in school? So it is very important, especially now, as an entrepreneur myself, doing different things. Like I just launched my private practice of psychotherapy here in New York, doing all these different things in which we can become so absorb the outside, like how am I going to do my social media post, or all these things that we have tasks on a daily basis, that yes, is going to help us. But if we don't take care since the morning, since the day starts, here, and here, and physically as well, none of the other stuff is going to matter, because we're going to bring a lower type of energy, of vibration of energy into our daily lives. And then we're complaining why things are not working out. Why, and which sometimes I get caught up with that too, asking the why. But then I remember I practice self-compassion different ways. There is you can do mindset, you can do different types of exercises, and then like meditation is one of the biggest things that I do, to come back and become grounded and quiet the mind and really appreciate this very moment. Like the all of us, the three of us, or the thousands of us are doing right now, like whether you're watching me and I'm having this interview with this beautiful woman, Anna, and just sharing messages and learning too.
Well, that's interesting. I guess it feels like quite a luxury to sort of take time out to meditate, and some of these things are quite alternative. I mean, certainly they've grown in popularity, and it seems quite normal now to go to a Buddhist retreat and so on. I mean, I know a lot of people who do, and absolutely in the coaching sort of world, of course, I'm coming across that more and more. But why do you think that is so difficult for people when we are focused on those goals? Why are we not able to be compassionate with ourselves? Why is it that push?
Yes. So I'm going to answer that. Like one of my clients told me, she's a millennial, and she was telling me, at first it just sounds like a cliche. Take care of yourself, and it's very exciting to go after our goals, which it is. But then gradually, when she was applying self-compassion, in which she transformed her life, she's like, I'm getting it. It goes beyond the cliche. It's a whole different kind of teachings that that if you apply it on an everyday basis, and you can even do something like for 3 minutes, 5 minutes of your day, and that itself can create, a higher energy vibration in your mood, in your daily life. So something so simple, for example, if you are not into meditating, you can do what is called walking meditation. It's different. Just go around your block, walk slowly, try to take deep breaths, and focus on your breath and this step. That today the ground is holding you, is supporting you. Mother Earth is holding you in each step that you are taking. And little by little, all the other jargon and clutterness in your mind starts fading away. When you hear, let's say, if there's a church around your neighborhood, the bell of the church, stop. Take a deep breath in, a mindful breath, becoming aware of your breath, and release, and continue. Something so simple like that. And if you do it on a daily basis, believe me, things start changing for you. I have different techniques also when it comes to mindset. And that's something big that I would like to share with you guys today. I'm going to share with you the teachings of the second arrow. So what is the second arrow, and how does it apply for us people that are goal getters? So the Buddha teaches us that the first arrow is a painful situation that sometimes we experience, whether we lost someone, whether things something happened at work, things that we don't have control of, and it's costing us pain. So that's the first arrow, the uncontrollable pain. Then the second arrow, it's the suffering that we create from our own thoughts. So sometimes things are not working out for us. But then it's us that we are actually advocating to make believe ourselves that things are impossible or things shouldn't be working, because we're applying resistance of our own goals, and that comes sometimes either out of neediness or fear. So the second arrow is our own thoughts. So if already something that is causing us pain, has happened, we have to become very aware of the second arrow of what thoughts are we creating ourselves. So if things didn't work out with your Facebook ad, if things didn't work out with your marketing campaign, are you going to practice now? This is another mindset part of the checklist that I'm going to give you guys today. I'm going to be sharing with you a checklist of mindful ways to reach your goals. Can you accept the ability to recover? Think about that. Can you accept the ability to recover from the first arrow? Most likely you're not going to die. And yes, the pain is there. But can you create constructive thoughts that is going to move you forward rather than stay stuck in there? Or, just appreciate the good things in your life, not only the negative stuff.
That's an interesting
what's
concept.
working. Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, I haven't heard of that idea of the second arrow, but it rings true, and it feels like it connects with so many other things that I've read in terms of, taking things personally. For example, if someone criticizes, and as you said, somebody might, reject your article that you sent off to get published, or your Facebook ad doesn't do so well, and then we sort of have all these self-doubt feelings, fear of, oh my God, it's not going to work out, and I'm not going to have enough money, and I'm going to be a failure, and what will people think of me? And that's actually worse than the event itself. And I guess also holding on to resentment, that idea that, when you're angry at someone, actually you're the one who's suffering, not the person who's done you harm. So I love that idea of sort of the considering how you're dealing with it. And as you said, sort of looking at how you can, I guess, learn from the situation and again, not take it too personally and try to find a way out somehow.
Mm-hmm. Don't take anything personally. I recommend this book, The 4 Agreements.
That's where I read it. Yeah, exactly. And what I loved about that was that it wasn't just don't take the negative personally, but also the positive. So if I say to you, wow, you're fantastic at doing this, it's not that you're fantastic because I've said that, it's you are fantastic and I'm just saying that. And I love that because it's easy to say, oh, don't take criticism personally. But I love the other dimension of it, that you also, I guess your identity is what it is, right? You're somehow strong in yourself and you know who you are and you know your strengths.
Accept that. Yes, accept yourself as a whole. You are divine. You come from a bigger source. You're part of it. So that's why I think, in the 4th agreement, one of them says, don't take anything personally, the negative and the good ones, because even the good ones, it's already inside. It's already. I mean, appreciation is always welcome. And when you receive compliments in a very acceptable manner, that's healthy actually, but not something to take it like too hard. And which takes me to the next thing that you can practice for self-compassion, which is practice equanimity when you're reaching your goals. And how to do that. So you guys probably have heard of the ego and how the ego can affect us, in our daily life and in our relationship. But in the case of going after our goals, most of us or some of us tend to either practice superiority, that feeling that one way or another you're above others, you have perhaps a higher knowledge than other people. And that can definitely lead you to a role that is going to disengage you having amazing relationships with different people. And whether you are an employer or an employee, especially if you're an employer and you're taking yourself to the level of superiority, you're not contacting with the family, you have a second family at work. How are you dealing with those relationships at work with your employees? It is not healthy to have the superiority type of mentality. But then again, we go now to the opposite, inferiority, feeling fearful. Oh no, I cannot do this. Oh no, I'm not good enough of, doing this talk or going to talk to this person. And then we put ourselves in a role of not believing that we're not good enough. And that's not healthy neither. That's not going to serve anybody. And especially entrepreneurs, if you're listening to me, we need a lot of us to have our voice be heard, because each one of us are here with a gift, with a talent, with a message. And that's a purposeful life to deliver that message. Whatever it is that is your gift, that's why we're here. And so if you put either yourself in a superiority or inferiority type of mentality, become aware of that. Where's it coming from? And most of the time comes from either both. Superiority and inferiority comes from fear. Both comes from fear. So practice equanimity. Practice equanimity at your work, at the role that you are doing. Like sometimes we get so caught up of doing a lot of things to create wellness, but we then forget that yes, that's great. That's going to be one of the results that is going to lead us there. But it's also about it's for them, for your clients. It's really about what can you deliver to your clients that they can find it useful, and help them create a better life.
So sort of awareness, and also kind of really connecting, I guess, in a genuine way, and not just being focused on that profit and the ultimate goal. And I guess
have to go from ambition to purposeful, to to meaningful.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, ambition to meaningful. I guess to challenge you for people who, as you said before, see this as a cliche, or think as Buddhism, meditation, blah blah blah. All this kind of divine and so on. But maybe have will reject that or feel that's a bit uncomfortable. Are there any kind of more practical, down to earth things that you can do? I mean, you said, for example, that listening to the bell, which is a great little sort of mindful tip. Is there anything else that's quite sort of tangible and simple, I guess, for the skeptics among us?
For the skeptics, sure. Well, you can do mindful breathing at home. There are so many different apps for free that you can just randomly have that bell ring in the middle of your day, and whatever you're doing, you stop doing.
Okay.
And take a breath. You can do mindful walking. You can do mindful eating. Pick a day on your week, or you can do it on a daily basis of just sitting with yourself quietly, quiet the mind and start really focusing on how you're nourishing and what you're nourishing your body with on the food. Gratitude, something that I practice every day, 3 times at the very least. When I wake up, I verbalize what I'm grateful for, this morning. Have fun.
Like that one.
Of all of that, ask yourself, how can I create laughter today? Definitely, because we need to have a sense of humor while we're in this journey.
Absolutely.
And there is another one. It's called I call it the 80-20 formula, and I learned this from a yogi master.
Okay.
It's a type of mindset. I think anybody can apply it. Hopefully the skepticals too. So the 80-20 formula goes like this. You try, how we have taught. We have learned that we have to try 100 or 110% of ourselves, and then we just get so exhausted with that mentality. Try 80%. Just try the best 80% you can give in your life, towards your goals. Let that 20% be taken care of by something else. I call it the universe. You can call it whatever you want. Well, that itself, that itself is leaving that 20%. That can bring some lightness.
No, that's great. I mean, Google, I think, at least the myth is that, they have one day for sort of, or 20% in fact, for just sort of doing fun projects. And that's where a lot of their big products have come from. And we did actually have 80-20 in sort of the corporate world in a slightly different twist. So it's interesting that you got it from the yogi. But yes, that's a perfect strategy, I think, that corporate professionals can get behind, because it's definitely something that's familiar. But I love that idea that, leave a bit of space for that sort of fun and play. I guess play is a concept that's coming out a bit more now, isn't it? To have fun. And,
yes, have fun. There are so many different things that you can do nowadays. I'm sure they have it in London, painting in a bar. Well, if you want to go to a bar, just like painting, you can go on a date with just doing painting.
A friend of mine actually came to London from Geneva, and she did a week of, I was so jealous of her photos. It was, the sort of ghost clay molding and, I don't know, painting and all sorts. And I thought we can all do that. You don't have to do a full week, but just one session, go and, play some ukulele or go and play rounders in the park or something. Just have a bit of fun.
Yes.
That's an easy one to do. What was I going to say? So I guess there's a lot of ideas there. And if I find... out of all of those things, if I find that I'm really so focused on my goals, and I guess bringing it back to career as well, ironically, I guess a lot of us have moved away from those more sort of ambitious achiever careers to try to find that deeper purpose and meaning, and then we almost forget that. So whether we're freelancers or entrepreneurs, we work harder than ever before, and we're constantly hustling, as the fashionable word is, and working late into the night, and the sort of work and life kind of blends together. So when we find ourselves doing that, what's the one thing? I always talk about the one step that we can take today that will make a difference. So what's the one step you would recommend to increase our self-compassion?
Yes, I remember that. If you have a purposeful career in which your roles affect the people around you, your co-workers, your employees, your families, your neighbors, then I urge you definitely to practice self-compassion. And there's so many different ways. There's so many books out there. I do also do videos on self-compassion on YouTube, because the whole point is this: if you don't take care of yourself, there is no way you can take care of others, your business, or the people around you. So just like the stewardess in the airplane tells you, put the oxygen mask first in case of emergency.
Yes, I love that metaphor. That's very powerful.
Yeah, put that oxygen mask, especially, when you're going through difficult times of turmoil and clutterness in your head. Like self-compassion. And there are so many, thanks to technology, there are so many apps that are focusing on mindfulness. There is a Remindful app to remind you to breathe, to say thank you. Yeah. It's called Remindful.
Okay.
The mindfulness bell. There's so many different apps out there that, that is enhancing our lives.
Okay, wonderful. So it sounds like the first step is just to take a break or take a pause, I suppose, for a moment and just recognize that you are important, and it's important to have the self-compassion. Already that awareness, I think, is powerful. And then perhaps today we download an app or listen to a meditation or one little concrete thing that will help us, I guess, on that journey towards greater compassion for ourselves.
Yes, and if I can add, create inspiration in your life. Not only by, if you're like me, for example, I listen to a lot of videos that inspires me, but also what I mean is create inspiration in your own home. Find a corner in your home in which can be your sacred space, a space like you can just go into and feel very light, and in tune with yourself. Like for yogis, I'm also a yoga instructor. I have my little sacred altar in which I can just sit down and meditate and just calm down.
Lovely. And I was just saying before as well how much I love your backgrounds, and just some little fairy lights and some beautiful colours, some little sort of token that reminds you or that inspires you. That's a really tangible thing I think people could do as well.
Yep, thank you.
Wonderful. So perhaps you can talk a little bit about the resource that we're going to be sharing. I'll put that in the description. We're going to give everybody a tool that you've developed to help them a little bit on this journey. So maybe you can tell us a bit more about that.
Sure. So I have created the Mindful Ways to reach your goals checklist. And I'm also adding for you guys my own personal daily planner. So you can get all that at freedomrivera.com/forward checklist.
Yeah. We love checklists. Achievers and doers love checklists. So that sounds like a great tool to use.
Yep. I think comes from my own mind too. I have to always have checklists. Always for everything. So
have self-compassion. Check. Yes. No. We laugh a little bit, but it does get a bit silly, doesn't it, when we get to that point? But But I think that's that's just part of the process, and hopefully we can relax into it, and we won't need the app and the checklist eventually, right? I guess that's the idea, that initially you sort of need those reminders, but eventually it becomes a habit like everything else, like brushing your teeth in the morning. So hopefully we'll develop that as a routine.
Yes, and writing too. Writing, has been scientifically proven that, it really helps you remember and practice those behaviors.
I love writing, so that's definitely something as well to do. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I have to say, just listening to your voice makes me quite calm, so that's already a great
thank
step.
You.
So maybe watching your videos and listening to your recordings would be a good step as well. But thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you, Anna.
This clearly this background that we come from, whether it's New York or London, this sort of masculine, I guess, energy, as they call it, and the achiever thing is quite a presence in our lives. So a wonderful reminder to take a breath and remind ourselves of what's important.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.